Yo, what's up, guys? Been a while. Okay, most of my audio should be like fine. Oh, let me just adjust that window size because I actually, since like my monitor's bigger than my old one, this screen can actually be way bigger than it, or my MGBA screen's a bit bigger in terms of like the visual part than it was before. Okay, that's good. But my secondary monitor is still the same because that's the one I look at for these things on calcs. So I figure it's good to look at the same secondary monitor, right? I have to get used to the colors, like, staring at my main monitor all the time. I like the brightness is a decent amount lower than it was, though. Alright. We have shit to get to work to. This one isn't the gauntlet, right? Ninetales starts the gauntlet, so I have basically the whole pool of heal to work with. I've gotten some ideas. Like, obviously, camera bleeds. I think camera bleed's the only thing that can just straight up one shot, right? Camera bleed's the only thing that doesn't have to worry about rocks going off. And that's mainly relevant because my spinners are. I guess you're now a spinner, so you're a solid spinner. Hello, Oscar. How's it going? On the stream. Like, I was able originally, I've been able to solve something, but the problem with like, I have an angle for this fight that risks like, let's see what it risks. There's like a 5 times 1 5. Run times time 1 5. What's the risk? So 1 in 5 chance it gets +8 if it doesn't see kill, and then like let's say 1 in 5 chance it has the roll that sees kill. Times 1 in 20 times 1 in 16. It's a very low chance, but let's see if there's a chance that doesn't risk that on Magneton, right? Because it's a very solid guy here on this creature. I think something like that plan could work with is like if Nidoqueen killed Torkoal, what would it send it in? It actually would send in Magmortar. I don't give it any damage boosting moves. Would it do that even if I still get a damage boosting move? Okay, no. It would do it if I don't give it a damage boosting move. Which means I have the angle of going into here. And then it would still bait that part, right? So if it crits, it would be like the same line. If it doesn't crit, we're seeing rocks up and then a flamethrower in. On the flamethrower, we can go into dirt. Spin up, Dragon Pulse. We might want to give this guy a Citrus because it does have rocks up. Not that we'd be taking like a lot. Be like 10%. And if it's like 10% at +1, it'd be like it wouldn't be horrible because then that would be attacking move from Weezing. Now we want to make sure we're not in overheat range, right? And so like flamethrower plus that 25 plus 70. 4 plus 25 plus 70 puts us at an 8 remaining HP if it all max rolls, and that just sees us as getting anything killing us. Oh, I'm getting a phone call. 1 sec. To make sure, because I'm getting like a bunch of different phone calls. Okay. That's for now taken care of. I have a weird class thing situation. And so I probably would a callback, but there's a chance I need to do a BRB maybe in the middle of something. But little ball. If I citrus and get met at like that, then it'd be EQ. Is there anyone who always gets hit by something? There's Terra, but I think I had to bring in Torterra for Octillery Creature. Because like the other part of the plan is Earth Power lead brings in. No one's faster now. Damages to my knowledge. Could charcoal too, so it sees like. Yeah, I could charcoal too, so it sees these encounters. Yeah, it should theoretically go for the problem is it's like Fire Blast or Psychic. You're going to this guy. Luckily, we can't get crit on him, so even if it does, so death drop, this for death drop, it should go for psychic, which would be great. So we go into this guy. I think I'd rather just give it a Petra. Wood hammer, about like 50% health. Could see a flamethrower. I wonder if I could theoretically mix it up in this situation. So let's say on flamethrower, I go into this guy. It hasn't eaten its berry yet, so it can't belch. It would EQ. I can go into this, lower the speed, go into this. With a hard stone. Rock slot, or no, it'd have to be charcoal though, so I would need to get chip off, right? Yeah, chip would need to be available to get off, because it's not always rule. I need charcoal for it to not see that guy. Someone can safely. Out of my guys that have fake out, I don't think any of them can actually safely switch into a flamethrower. That means I don't really know where we get chip out of. I think we also need Arcanine to get damage off on Ragnarok. Yeah. It needs to be the one that damages her neuter. There's more damage with the player off, so I just want to see that. Unless I maybe use this guy. Nah, because I can sometimes bait Fire Blast. That's the problem with these guys, is they'll like mix up what they roll or bait, right? Let me test out one last thing. 'Cause, 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 ' What are you baiting again? It could be like any of them. No, it just can't. It could be Psychic or Fire Blast. Someone bait. Someone tank a Psychic and Fire Blast and bait Gunky. So they can't because if they get to crit, bait's random. A Citrus Talonflame should be able to do that. The downside would be it could bait random if it gets crit Spadef dropped. So it's like 1 in 8 times 1 in 10, which is like 1.25% chance. Is a 1.25% chance less likely than this crit booming? No. It's not. So we just go with the original line then. And accept crit boom chance because it's not likely to. Let me go charcoal so that it won't go pleasing creature. We'll go you. Looking at Psychic or Fire Blast. Go into Turtonator. And then a Petra Portera Woodhammer. Bring in this guy. It would never. Yeah, it would always be Flamethrower. Go into Lycanroc with a Rostberry. That with Rock Slide. Go into this with a Wise Glasses. Kill with Flash Cannon. And then on Overheat / Heat Crash, we go into you. And then I'd give it Hearthstone just because in case it Shell Smashes. No, actually, let me check that. If it Shell Smashes... I don't think it would, but... If it did, it'd be plus... No, it could... What it could do is it could... Shell Smash on my killing turn. So if that happens... If it does Shell Smash... Okay, no, it's fine. I'm not taking any extra damage. Okay, we're fine there. Yeah, I'll just give it, like, anything really. Hearthstone, whatever. Yeah, okay. That's what we rock with. Dark hole for you. Nader's item does not matter to my knowledge. Just give it a picture berry in case. You're gonna get wise glasses. You're going to get Petra berry. Did I give you roster Petra? Cool. You're going to get hardstone. Just an easy earth power. Okay, good. Artillery comes in. And with artillery, we're gonna want to see. It doesn't really matter what we see, but I'm going to Turtonator to pivot because it could be Fire Blast. Yep, it was more likely to be Psychic, but it ended up being Fire Blast. Cool. Now it's gonna be either Psychic, Gunk Shot, or T-Wave. If it Spadef drops us, it could be... Okay, it didn't Spadef drop us, so... This is going to be a Flamethrower. If it Spadef dropped us... No, it still wouldn't have gone into the freezing, yeah. And it couldn't have hit us with Belch, so it would have been fine. Alright, Flamethrower in on Bourgeois. Gonna kill with Rock Slide, and we have Rostberry. Crit here isn't necessarily bad. Okay, that's a tough range. It's like gonna be pretty hard for Wheezing to see the range it wants to, but that's fine. Wise glasses, wise. This is a... I'm gonna need to clutch up here, Magneton. Okay, we're good. With wise glasses, we outspeed and kill with flash cannon. Brings in Turtonator, who I believe should be going for fire move here, but it also could see my lack of damage and Bell Smash. Luckily, it can't kill us at +2 if we're going in on a non-move. And Rock Slide into East would always kill, so... We just kind of win from here, to my knowledge. Okay, well, that's easy. First battle in like 12 days. Dubular. Now, we get to prep for the back-to-back-to-back, not back-to-back, we get to prep for like the 3 trainers, but I can't go back and heal. So that will be fun. Okay, so those are, I think the last of the 3 is... See, it goes Gerald to Axel, so that's the 3 that it is. Let's fake out score again. +9. Could take advantage of that. I have Raking Sash. Problem with that is it's only baits Fire Blast, Focus Blast, right? Not like a easier move to switch in and out on. And Lycanroc is faster, which is intriguing, since I think I plan to run Lycanroc for this fight regardless, or this gauntlet regardless, right? Would I have any Togedemaru use here? I think there could be potential Togedemaru use here, so I don't hate that idea. So I could, like, fake out, right? I could also bait something that does have Infernape faking me out, and then, like, fake it out on the next turn for Uber Chip. Or just going to... Or just fake out going to Gyarados. I'm gonna have a Rost in that case. But it would fake out Gyarados in this situation, so I'd go into you, keep the fake out. How much do I need it to be at? Do 26%. Is that bad enough? It should, like 140 or 162 divided by 8 20. So it's doing 20 plus 23. 162 minus 43, 119. Yeah, so I mean it hits the damage range in that situation that we need it to. Downside is I can't hardstone because if I hardstone, obviously there's the burn chance. It'd be great if I could just fucking hardstone here because then I could just like clean out like an rock boom. Instead, this guy would come in. And it's obviously going to. I mean, coil would be. How does coil get viewed? Yeah, it's through this defensive, so could coil up in that situation, right? And if it coils up, push in, rock slide 1. Have to have a fairy berry on me. It wouldn't be that bad. And then I would just on dark pulse. Part could be a bit awkward, right? Because it'd be great to be able to. Hmm. Oh wait, there's no sun up. Duh. Let me rewire that whole plan. So Gyarados always gets me Grass Knot, and Grass Knot does make contact. I guess the risk would be a Focus Blast drop. There'd still be Grass Knot, so like you're able to potentially reset that right in that angle. And I feel like that killed. You'd be looking at Dark Pulse or Thunder Fang. It was Dark Pulse guy. Go into this. Then we could run Hardstone in this spot, so he would always Leech Life. Just Leech Life going to that. I think theoretically, I mean, it's just for the first 4, but we might already need these guys for the gauntlet. And so let's see what that puts us at. That is slightly whack. Carrying Mystical Fire for some ungodly reason. And this does purely wallop it, and the cool thing about that is it baits in this thing for some reason. And then gets the EQ or Rock Slide. No, you're not immune to crit. Guarantee it was EQ, I'd go into that. All you do is bait Flare Blitz. Yeah, I like it as like smash strike, right? I guess in this situation I might have to do something like that, but oh wait, Cloister. No, it's only when it's at that. Whoops, that's only when it's at that. This is out seeds. Yeah, Cloister gets. That was like very high. That how much would that help? Yeah, not at all. Cool. Mulligan baits and on headbutt or flare blitz, but he's the crits of either. Yeah, this guy's just the best to handle. The Blissey, that's a. Would it counter most of the time though? Let's check. It's just default +6, so it's like 50-50, right? Makes it trickier in the form of annoying things happening, right? Think psychics that go in. What do I need for the first fight? Nah, be doing enough. Unless I just raw lead him, right? Like, the biggest problem becomes the 2K. I think it's better to lead Arcanine and Rockslide E-Speed with, like, Chesto, right? Rockslide E-Speed. How much should I take from a Flamethrower? I take enough of the percentage to where it's always going to go to, and maybe I do lead this guy just to bait in Flamethrower. With a Chesto bait, Rockslide E-Speed. Bait in Rock Blast. Because that's... But that candidacy kill at that point, right? Obstagoon becomes something that might be relevant. Now, this guy's can always Rock Slide or Rock Polish, right? I know that if I switch Obstagoon in, it's always going to overheat. I can go into creature like this. Or if my overheat could try to bait it's in headbutt, that's interesting as well. I think that's possible. Somewhat possible. It's like, what's the odds of it rock sliding in this situation? Like 1 in, or 4 and 5, so it's like an 80% chance. Attacks and rock slides on switch in. It would get 3 in case of a crit. If I could go Swampert. And Swampert will always segue into a knockoff switch for my bro. And without an item, if it's at -2, I do more, so just better off sucker punching, and I can, yeah. So if we made these two our final gauntlet members, we could beat this fight. I don't know how he would handle the Darmanitan mainly, though. I do something faster than it, but the problem is getting it, like, switched in, right? Right, no sun here. And, like, I don't think Swampert gets any extra shizzle to it. I can take advantage of right now. To be fair, what I can do is use some of these guys to chippage the Blissey. The main thing is that Blissey comes in. Oh, but I needed the fucking other guy for that. I'd have to shorten it down to. I have to shorten it down to replacing Swampert, which could make it slightly sketch on this guy. I don't think anyone else is fading in Zen Headbutt. Because that guy actually baits in random, right? He baits in random. That's why it's so much better to have Swampy guy there. Otherwise, I'm risking a couple of cool things happening here. But then we have to figure out the lead way more if that happens. Some mystical fire, bait the bat shit. Back and date. I'm gonna decent on health, but let me figure out how conceivable it is. I'll be right back. Yeah, I would like to see how conceivable that is, but it might be possible. It might not be as bad as I thought. Give me 1 sec though. Okay, I'm back. Or I go with like Berserker thing. They're just adjusting the music volume ever so slightly. Most likely things we could switch out here are going to be Swampert and I'm slower than Blissey, right? So I'll always probably It could Ross me though in that situation if it does. Nope, because surprisingly that always kills. Don't know. This card looks crazy to me, but it correct apparently. So they'd always send in Blissey. Go for Fire Blast. So then we would just have to figure out a little bit better about this guy. Of like, okay, well, if that say it's this is the team of 6 we have instead. Then we're maybe just like eating a fake out, going for waterfall. If it crits, we stay in. If it doesn't, we would go into this guy. Finish that. That could work because then we could run. I mean, if it crits though, it would bring us into pursuit range. Actually, no, it wouldn't because we kill that. So be Hardstone here. I can chain Houndoom, and then I can okay. I think this can be done then. It's only going to you on Fire Blast. Slowly chippage. We need it to be at like whatever 70% would be. And then we can chain that. It doesn't matter as long as we're not sometimes baiting in Fire Blast. And then for the first part, we want to lead this guy and just like Hypnosis or Chesto up. So we have plans for all those contingencies. Just make sure no one has any extra items they're hanging on to. This one, you're going to get a Chesto. You're going to get a, I think it has to be Hardstone. You'd have to be Hardstone. That doesn't really. It's only like Rock Slide in the case. Right. Say we don't get any damage off. Let's say it doesn't like attack us once, so we like have to try to chip it, right? And so if we have to try to chip it, or if Soul Rock comes in to try to Rock Slide or Rock Polish us, that's why we would go Swampert to you, knock off Sucker, and then in terms of maybe we would push from that angle. Then we could eliminate Bullet Seed Rock Blast, and we can eliminate Bullet Seed Rock Blast. We'd safely go into that guy, right? I think that sounds correct here. could also like liquid into Sucker Punch. And then at a fuller amount of health, I'm kind of baiting in Overheat or Brave Bird. So yeah, I'll try a few things. The only downside with that is if it like, if it flinchies, that's as awkward. So I'd rather like, I think Citrus is safer. Citrus here. Those are the only items I think we need to give out for that fight. So yeah. Good thing this guy's battle armor. Alright, before we drop down, pop up that one. And let's go down. You just double check. I should be double checking before, but listen. Alright. Okay, that's not amazing. We'll also do the weird one. I don't think I could have had anyone else get the finishing kill, because then Lycanroc can't get kill on 2-cannon. I mean, I maybe could have done it with the Gunner, actually, given a Chesta. I could have done that way, actually. It's fine, though. We, accounted for a maybe not super risky chance or something like this. Could be Solrock. Yep. I'm like a 4 and 8 chance for this to, or 4 and 5 chance for this to Rock Polish, but if it doesn't, I want to go into this. Yep. Okay, so Rock Polishes. That's cool. Now here it should send Headbutt. Actually, I think I have a good idea of how to play this. Instead of hoping that this doesn't crit in terms of making the thing difficult, what I can do is, now this part's always going to be Overheat. We know that I always just kill regardless with 2 Sucker Punches. So we're going to pivot Bumper on this Overheat. Perfect. Now it's -2 without Fire Gem. It's going to be on Headbutt. And now the max my guy can take is 50%, which will put us out of range of, like, any mixed amount of moves here. So I'll just Sucker Punch twice here. Yeah, now I can only overheat my Ostagoon. And for that, we just go into Hard Stone, Lycanroc, and Rock Slide. Alright, first battle done. Line went pretty well. Didn't have to use up our citrus either. I forgot to check how many healing items I think I had a good amount of, like, regular potions. Alright. Now Rock Slide kills this. Alright, part 1 done. Make sure to turn off the sun. Actually, you're gonna keep Hearthstone on. Alright, we're given Rostberry. And then just did that check. Yep, that Fire Blast always outspeeds and kills. Perfecto. Now, what items could we give here to help us land the right damage amounts? I only need to hit with 3 flamethrowers, right? Or a couple brines. Like, the 2 people that can attack with are Swampert and Arcanine. So we would just give them citrus berries, I think. That way, in case of bad luck, of drops and all that shit, they have what they need to ship as necessary. And then go with that. It chains that guy. There's also the chance I can, like, bait something in on counter. Finish it off with Swampert. Swampert always does a crit with that. So, I mean, there's things I can do. I think this is the best chance for the win. And just why this guy is brought. Alright, fight 2. Whatever spot is at. There it is. Alright, let's do this big Zerk. Okay, that's fine. This can't kill us for battle armor. At 45 HP. It can't psychic, which is cool for me. Perfect. Start with this guy. Hit off some flamethrowers. We're looking for it to be like 70% or less. Maybe a little more just to make sure that I get what I need on the kill. Okay, that's good. We need to hit it 3 times, so that's 1 flamethrower. That's 2 flamethrowers. And this is 3 flamethrowers. That's doing at least 42 damage. 42x3 is 126. 362 minus 126 leaves it at 236 HP at the minimum. With Hardstone, I go in, and Rock Slide does 252 at the minimum. And since I have just the fucking Lycanroc, we just chain kill this and Darmanitan. Perfect. Good shit, Lycanroc. Gauntlet left in the 2 really tough fights in the gym. And then Flan, which I have the intro of Flan pretty much all cooked. It's really good. Alright, let me just refresh my line here. I just lead Gyarados. Probably just it to be safe. But and then I just hit it. I mainly just go for 1 hit because it's gonna be like, if it's in Blaze range, that could be slightly whack though, right? Huh? It could say, let me calc this real quick. So I need at least 26 damage done for that part, and then when it's in Blaze range, Fire Blast is going to be like the 50-50 of it, since I don't have Death. And that kind of creates the dilemma of like, okay, but if I kill it with Gyarados, let's say I kill it with Gyarados, also slightly. It just adds a little extra. I could also just go into Arcanine, E-Speed. Bring in Houndoom, Dark Pulse. No, bring in Houndoom, Destiny Bond. My knowledge, at least, I think. Yeah. So I could go into Berserker on that. You know, because it would still just like bring in you, T-Fang me, right? And you get T-Fanged guy. No, because I'd be switching it on this, like HP. Deal with E-Speed. Bring in Scentiscorch actually, so that kind of works. It's beasting. It's a goat, man. I think my eye strain is getting better with the monitor too. I just have it like dimmer than I thought I would need it, so I'm just kind of getting used to that. Run through this one at a time. Yeah, let's say, oh yeah, if I do that part on, if I get it to like Blaze Range, then I go into Arcanine, and then I E-Speed, that should bring in Scentiscorch, because it doesn't see that it's like faster. Or it sees like that it's slower, but it's O-code, right? So let's kind of switch in. Default, no, V plus 0. But faster, so it'll only be +1 because it's faster even if it gets O-code, so it'd be D-Bond, right? And then on D-Bond, I'd want to go into Berserker, because what that does is it makes it so... Yeah, it makes it so Berserker wouldn't... It makes it so Houndoom is like always going to Fire Blast to Destiny Bond. So I would have to... I wouldn't be able to Rossberry, right? So that's a bit risky. And you able to Rossberry that, right? Yeah. Let me slightly recook this part. Not to a huge degree, but a little bit is in order, I think. Is there any move I could add to this dude's repertoire that wouldn't kill the guy? Or that wouldn't bring it to Blaze Range, but would do a sizable amount that I actually just don't need as a TM. Like, I probably need Crunch as a TM, right? I don't think I'll need Ice Beam for too long. I could Rock Smash it in this theoretical situation. I could Rock Smash it, right? And then when I Rock Smash it, I can then go back to the original plan of going into this guy with a Hard Stone. And since it will be Rock Smashed, High Horsepower will kill. And then she sees just barely that I do enough through that, so it's not gonna go Scorch here to go to this guy. I chain that kill, and then on like mark with Scorch, it's gonna be Leech Life. It can't set up when it sees that I'm killing it. I go into Arcanine, and we Rock Slide. I just get Cherry Berry. Yeah, that's the plan. I just don't think If it was Ice Fang, I would have a tougher time debating that. I'd probably get rid of Bounce, to be honest, but Ice Beam, so it's not happening. So it could semi-happen. Bounce is the least likely of these moves to keep, right? And then eventually we'll Natty Gift things. And like I imagine we'd, at some point, unless we like reteach things, we'd be at a Waterfall Crunch, Scale Shot situation, right? Last move probably being Flex move. Natty Gift and stuff. So we might actually just not need Bounce. You know, this guy's only ability to like hit things. Granted, when do I get Avalanche Tutor? Avalanche Tutor is... Let's see. Late, so I get the natural gift angle before that. Less plausible. Yeah, if I needed Ice move, but I mean, Icy one would exist. It's tough because like he's usually good. No, I think I can. I don't see myself using bounce strats. I can see a niche situation where Gyarados is typing, despite it being not Ice Fang with like a low special attack. Could use a like a quad weak on that. Okay, that's perfect. Let me give this guy a hard stone. And you a very. And then so this should go smoothly, and then we have the super fucking crazy fights of this gym. Right. Do I need to... Yeah, we're still on that. Here we go. Show up. Yo. Show up. Hello. Hello. There we go. I was like, I want to click something. Can we fake out? We'll eat the fake out. Okay, perfect. Now we go into a Lycanroc. This is -1 now. High horsepower is always killing this. This should let us chain Houndoom too. Perfect, we can just chain Houndoom immediately. And then when we switch in Arcanine, it won't be able to coil on the switch. It'll be Leech Life to the face. It's fine, we got Cherry Berry. Nice try, buddy. Smooth. Alright, I feel good about that. Been like 2 weeks last since I cooked up on the calculator, so that was about as smooth as it gets. Now, these next fights, most likely to be less smooth. But just make sure I remember. Just make sure I remember, the gym interior, where I'm supposed to go here. I don't think I'd be able to mess this up, but hey man, you never know. I'm on that weird room that has... I don't even think it's the same gym layout as, like, regular. I think upper is the way to go, though, so I want to go down. Yeah, I'm gonna go up, and we're out of here. Alright, cool. Goodbye, Gauntlet. Alright. He's ready to fight literal dog shit. Because that's what this fight is. Fight is please don't cuss tap explosion. First of all, that's what it starts off as, I think. I don't really have any other ways to combat that. I just hate it though because it really sets up a bad circumstance for me on... It sets up a situation where I have no choice but to let Licky Licky come in next, right? And that's like the guy I want to try to wait till last because it's just a fucking demon. But it out damages even when I saw Sand. And that's not calcing as guts, it's calcing when it's healthy. And so I could just sort of get boomed on that turn, right? Otherwise it's power up or body slam. risk something that theoretically okay with getting axed here. That also chips this enough for one of my main guys to follow up. Need to be at 80% basically. Which means unless I figure something out, I might just have to risk that 1 in 20 on Togi. But that just is like such a horrible Pokemon to have to risk that on. Then this is Fire Blasting. And you have nothing that's going to volunteer to take a Fire Blast, I can tell you that. This is where I wish this guy was like kind of fast. But, you know, happens. Surefetched is a little ideal too because it'd bring in another explosion guy that I have to risk something on. Because yeah, he doesn't have spinny. And just isn't fast. I wish I could chain those two back to back. I need a good amount of chip. Not a good amount, but I just need solid chip to try to kill this with Lycanroc. And also not be in... The Aftermath is only on contact. I don't think high horsepower is contact at the very least. No, it is. So, yeah, I'm going to be also losing... 1/4 of my... So I'm going to be actually also losing like 40 HP on top of that. So I can't take... I basically have to try to switch it on a poison jab because I can't get burned. But I know one of these guys kind of eats almost everything the Skuntank throws out. Oh, it's the Gigalith. That's the thing that kind of eats whatever it throws out. And then on Camerupt, it's like it'd be Body Slam or Power Whip. And so I would just have to Cherry Berry that. I just think he's the best bet, because like if he booms, this isn't the worst thing to lose on, even though it's so cracked. Calm isn't horrible either if he gets boomed on. So if he gets Power Whipped, he's always gonna bait another Power Whip. So I go into that. Otherwise, if he gets a boomed on, he gets a boomed on. If he misses, it's a work in progress. Then if I do that, it would always bring in this thing for poison jab or fire blast. If it's poison jab or fire blast. Send out this guy with a lum. I think. I wish I could get chip out because close to being able to kill with that EQ. It's a very specific case, but if anything, one that outspeeds at -1 and could theoretically. If I do the fighting type angle, it's just gonna bring in Licky, or not Licky, it's gonna bring in Skuntank because outsped by outspeeds both. Right? So that's where that part kind of like falls a little bit. Or meaning we're basically playing around like 3 different booms, which is like in fucking insane, right? It's insane. Let's see though. In the case of the very low quick, let's see. In case of quick claw boom happening, if quick claw boom happens, that means we have something to send in that like baits in whatever we. I can aim for something that would bait in Flareon. And so I think that would be like, I literally think that would be Swampert. Potentially. I mean, if it's Swampert, that makes it tough to switch into my answer for it, right? It would make it theoretically tough to switch into my answer for it in this spot. Actually, not really, because Rock Slide kills that Flareon always. And then would bait in Skuntank, which is faster guy, and that's not the guy we're baiting Boom. That's not the guy we're baiting Boom, or that's not the guy that's the guy we care way less about booming. Be on knockoff or Explodey. We can trust our rock types to kind of do their thing here, I think. Might just have to let me raw risk you in the good line, I think. Actually, we just always raw risk Surfetched here. I don't know, is there a better way to do that? It's a really good detector, but I'm having trouble seeing who else. These only 2 that could just kill it. You've cleared an item. Tougher to bait, figure out what it's gonna bait in. Also lets me carry something extra. You're at 123 speed. I think the biggest problem with we need a guy that's easily able to bait in. We need a guy that's easily able to bait in like the move we want it to switch into when we go into. We need a guy that doesn't bait in stomping. I gotta go with this guy first. Bulldoze. Then into you. And that might be better off. Granted, if it explodes on this, it could be Stomping Tantrum or Solar Beam, right? And it becomes like a random assortment of no one can tank anything, right? Because it was Stomping Tantrum or Solar Beam. So I think Gyarados is the play here. Gyarados is our backliner. Allows us to get our switch into Arcanine. Just really hope this works. Oh, it could be better to risk a different guy, to be honest. I can't risk Swampert, even though Swampert, like Swampert, you're risking an extra Explodion. Even though it theoretically always kills that thing. This guy risks an Explosion Kit and the inability to go back in. I think we just do with this. I think this is probably the most common of the bucket send fights in this gym. I should, just in case. I don't know. I can't guarantee what status I might get. I don't think you need anything. You're always gonna outspeed it and kill the... Yeah, always outspeed and kill the Flareon. Doesn't really matter. Even if I give you an item, it would just knock off. That doesn't really matter. As much as it would be nice to have a citrus for Skuntank. Same with you. I don't think your item theoretically matters. Since you're like backline support on Skuntank. So unfortunately, none of our things really matter on these guys. Yeah, because you need Soft Send to get that kill. And everyone else is at risk of being knocked off by that Skuntank. Alright. Alright. I mean, a huge clutch at the start here from you, Kame guy. Let's show him how it's done. Perfect. Turn 1, good. Now, unfortunately, we just have to risk the big man here. Perfect. Eat this raw CC. Oh, I mean, it's not eating it. It's gone. Now, Skuntank. Random move between Fire Blast and Poison Jab. I'm actually gonna do, I think... Let's see. I think I'm going... Since this can't explode here, because I'm at -1/-1, so it's obviously just gonna go for a fast kill. So... What we're going to do here, actually I think so, Fire Blast at 90. It actually is not likely to Poison Jab. This is like almost always Fire Blast. So let me think about that. Poison Jab can never kill at -1/-1. It's about always Fire Blast. I could get an Intim off. And then that does increase my chances here. Okay. What's more risky? Risking Explosion crit on here? Or risking it on my other guy? It's actually more risky to in terms of like this specific fight, it's more risky to try to fight explosion here. We're only dead to explosion crit at -1. And it's another like one. But actually no, sorry. I miscalced that. It's always killing me if it's explosions, so we have to go into the cock. No poison. Perfect. It's gonna be fire blasting now, or exploding. I don't think what's just better for me to do here. Since I'm like kind of lower on attack stuff, right? And I couldn't give an item, obviously. If it explodes here. Okay, I'm best off going for a bulldoze, I think. Yeah. If it burns, that's actually kind of okay. Okay. So now it's 50-50 burn chance. If it crits me here, we do live every crit. It would just make it really difficult when Flareon comes in. But that's like why Gyarados kind of exists, because if it's poisoned, Arcanine always lives like any crit hit. Bulldoze won't trigger Aftermath. I think we also outspeed this at -2. Okay, definitely got very fortunate there, because now we're in like best case with this Flareon. Because it can't Stomping Tantrum, it can only Solar Beam here. And since it can only Solar Beam, I go into Arcanine. I mean, if it could random move, it would just go Gyarados into that guy. But it can't Stomping Tantrum, to my knowledge. This is a non-poisoned Flareon. Stomping Tantrum does max 78. Rock Slide always outspeeds, always outkills, or always outspeeds and kills with Rock Slide. Okay. Let me just make sure I click the right move. Okay, that's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm fucking talking about. Not out of the woods yet. Next fight's also really difficult. And then it's the gym leader. But this is going about as pristine as you can imagine it going. Actually, have 2 more fights left, sorry. Both kind of crazy. I think this Blaziken one is the more difficult of the two. So we have our work kind of cut out for us there. Well, I don't know why my Octillery is not leveled up. Probably because it's a fucking artillery. Okay. Sure, you might be able to see why this guy might be slightly difficult. Because the Slow King eats, like, everything I could send at it. Ross with knockoff into Scald could be something, though. How does Future State AI work? It could also Future Sight there. I can always stall out Future Sight turns, though. Like, I could detect or knock off, detect. Sucker detect, right? So let's say theoretically we do just go with a Rostberry. That would bring in Embor, right? Yeah, so the benefit of that is I can detect scout what Embor's move is. So I kinda like that. It could be like Flare Blitz or Superpower, but I can detect scout it. And so if I detect scout it, if it, yeah, it's very likely for it to be possible between both Flare Blitz and Superpower, right? Now, obviously, we are not with a odd Superpower resist on the team. I'd probably need to like Citrus Gyarados for one option. Right side is it can also Gyarados could be used interchangeably with Golurk, or as a Golurk and Emboar answer. If it's Flare Blitz, we're looking at Arcanine, I think. Or it'd be better off to be Turtonator. With Turtonator, I might be able to scope out. With Turtonator, I can have it go Golurk, right? I could use Turtonator, and then I could have it go Golurk. And then I really the goal is basically try to chain kill this Blaziken, right? Obviously it does help a lot having Swampert in the party now. It's like a really good Pokemon to have here. I would say same with Gyarados. So those guys are huge, but it's like how do you kind of complete this backline? I think I have some ideas. I'll just be right back. Okay, I'm back. Unfortunately, our ice shard guy doesn't do much against Fly Jesus. Dang, it's a I thought I actually outsped the Blaziken, but it's a speed tie, so it would go in, seeing itself as faster. Back, gotta check something. Okay. I think this is still the best plan because it allows me to kind of scout out what the next thing's gonna go for. Ranked on that. Go this on superpower. Or on fire blade. Yeah, it's not child charge. I might have to go into this guy. Or say that leads me to get in a fat overheat and then like a little shaky from there. I can intimate. It might be possible through Turtonator. I'm also gonna need an option for Flygon. Comfort gets Giga Drain. Is there any Giga Drain resist that can meet up these guys? Nope, you're dead to Earthquake or Scale Shot. You get outsped if I don't level you up. Nor do you make that easy to switch into. You don't have any move to hit that with. You're not fast enough. Marked by 5. The annoying thing comes from the amount of variables I might have to face taking down Blaziken and Embor. Which then means I have no idea what situations and health I might be on when Flygon comes in. I just don't know that there's 5 Pokemon here. The amount of team space becomes super relevant. Yeah, Gyarados is actually really important for getting scale shot baited too, right? On Flygon. Because then if I can bait scale shot, I kill with Ice Shard. I guess that makes Quillfish a possible switch. It's like Flare Blitz or Superpower. If it Flare Blitzes and max rolls, it could be, or crits, it could be fucking Head Smash added into the equation. It can never be Wild Charge, so like, there's that, I guess. Yeah, I'm not slower or as fast as that. I EQ'd here. Let's say I faked out with Miansha and I EQ'd here. I should be bringing in kind of close combat from Blaziken. Then it would go. Yeah, that's not ideal, right? You only like pure kill that if you're adamant, yeah. However, being adamant means I bring in this guy. Bring in this guy for Flare Blitz. If you do it with me and Shao, so you bait a Psychic. And if you do that with me and Shao, so you bait a Psychic and go into this guy with like a Muscle Band Sauce and whenever you'll bait Flare Blitz every single time. And What's scoring of -5 again? I have no idea what would be considered scoring -5. If it's Flare Blitz, something a bit faster that could take. Um, Ideally, we hate to have to bait in the Flare Blitz, right? Yes, Flare Blitz send into this game, but it's not exactly ideal. I believe Brave Bird wouldn't overlap the knockoff. Does anyone else bait a scale shot as good as this guy does? Or this Talon? So if Talon can maybe be used, since I have to use Gyarados other parts. I'm like, Talon and wasted guy. I give it Citrus. And make sure I fix on Scale Shot and go into you theoretically. And probably have Cloister handle double trouble. That has to go the way I need it to. Gyarados hopefully kills more if it's like. I just have to risk it if it does crazy things. We're gonna need some pivots for this guy. Guy's a good pivot. So I feel like Turtney is actually. I see my next best bet here. Even if I intimate. I guess it could also be the in case of Flare Blitz guy. As long as that -1's here. I'm gonna kill that part. This doesn't feel like stable at all, but I might just have to fucking. Oh, no, I might have to send. We have to send. This brings at least a sackable guy into the plan. In Coalfish, but. Everything but a head smash switch, I just realized. So if we get head smashed, not great. We might low-key need Swamp instead of one of the other guys. If it had Rapid Spin, it'd be perfect, but it doesn't. Conflame's really important, though, if we have to do other things on Embor. Which means Turtonator, which is kind of like a Flux Resist in most cases, doesn't exist anymore. Yes, Swampert's only dead to Embor double crit. We have the rest of the guys against that, but we don't have our shell armor guy, so we have to risk fucking hilarious shit. Could run Swamp instead of Talon. Coalfish or Talon? And yeah, I think it's like the. And I have to preserve Gyarados. I think. Let me check the math on that. No, Gyarados is fine to get crit by Gigadrone, really. So it's gonna take some chip. Fortunately, I have to give like Citrus to pretty much everything. I think you would get Rost. You might be switching on Flare Blitz. Yeah, I might have to use a lot of citruses here, but I have a lot, so, you know. I'll tighten up if I need to, when it's necessary. Alright. Get the raw, which is the most important part there. He's getting, at least Swampert getting solid use here. I don't know which one's which though, so. Okay. The right one. I'm gonna detect first. You're not detect first, knock off first. Okay, don't do a whole lot, please. Oh, that was like the max roll. Are you fucking kidding me? That was really the max roll. Okay, so we detect you. Please just don't be head smash. Okay, that's perfect. Wait, is it? I think I have to use this guy for it, and I was planning on maybe using that against Blaziken. But no, I think I have to. Cooperate with me here, bud. Perfect. Another max roll though, so that's epic. Alright, we're gonna get a fat liquid off. What might this bring in? Be looking at EQ most likely, which I don't hate. Actually, nope, it would be Blaziken Bravebird. Because it didn't pop that part. I don't really think of a Bravebird answer for switching here. Did I? By the one hit, we have to. Let this guy take. Unfortunately, wait, I was hoping to int him on a close combat or overheat turn. My Gyarados has not much bulk. Jesus fucking Christ, man. 138, bro? What are these max roll crits? That's ludicrous. Alright. Blowfish has to dodge a critical hit here. Okay. Citrus is hitting. Could put us out of Brave Bird range. Yep, this is all overheat now. This is -1. -2, so it'd be getting close combat, which is perfect. Yeah. I can't live 2 close combat, so I'm tempted to... Now Rapid Spin won't let me outspeed Golurk anyways. That's kind of what makes this awkward, right? It could go into something not ideal. -1, -1, -2. Could risk one more crit on Quillfish. So then I could Rapid Spin twice if that happens. But I mean, Flygon can just either Scale Shot or that anyways. So it's probably better just to let Turtonator come in. When I'm in EQ range, I go into Gyarados. And then into Obstagoon. Into Gyarados. Into Cloyster. Doesn't really change. The only issue, I guess, is I don't think this kills, right? At -1, so the issue then becomes the fact that the issue becomes if Golurk can also see kill with Shadow Punch. I think we risk Quillfish one more time here. Perfect. Overheat comes in again now. And we're in a good situation. Because now we should be killing with Dragon Balls. Now this should only be Golurk EQ. Let me check block AI real quick. Unless block AI would just be considered +6. Seems like it might just be +6. Or weighted a certain way. But this could be Shadow Punch. If it's block, well, you know. Fucking suck my dick. Perfect. And now we should see EQ again. We go back to Gira one more time. And now at -2. I'm comfortable sending in Cloister. We have our Citrus. And then back into this guy who on, I should believe, is fine on crit. Yeah, Gyarados is fine on crit. Is there a better guy than Gyarados on that spot, though? No, it's gotten tough to guarantee scale shot, hasn't it? There's an easier way to guarantee scale shot. A non-intimid. Downside is, I think, crit controller. No, 'cause I just need an Ice Shard for chip, right? Yeah, I just need an Ice Shard for chip. Alright. Yo, Soy Champ. Ooh, that's awkward. Now I can't do what I wanted to fucking do. Man, health is Fire Blast, you could drain. So first thing I'm gonna do, this is never gonna be EQ, it's only gonna be Fire Blast or Giga Drain. Let's roll something here. Perfect. No. Don't think we're in a position to risk like a 50-50 here with Gyarados. So we have a couple 50-50 chances we can risk here with Cloister. I think we can risk it at least once, so show me. Okay, we're failed. Those kills now. We use like all our citruses, but hey man. Like all 4 of the citruses we planned for it, but when's the fucking window? One more. Now, obviously, let's make sure we don't go further. All right. Please don't also be sketchy for this fight. Kind of running out of the Mickeying I can do at this point, man. Lead should be solid enough for us with our guys. I'm leaning towards the Mienshao angle because then I'm not gonna have a tougher time figuring out what's coming in next. It would just always be burn up. Which, I'm not sure if I'm actually kind of vibing with that. It would still be burn up here, huh? Yeah, I think no matter what I do, it's burn up. Unless you lead. No, yes, okay. Logan Hisui, we can kind of lessen the time we can increase the time we need to think about this spot. Magic Guard Life Orb is kinda spooky, I will say. How are we going to navigate that? With this lineup of guys? Because obviously this thing beats it if we can get it in on a flamethrower. And even then, that's actually not super epic, right? Maybe burn up isn't so bad of an idea. Guy eats that burn up. Be like, just random guy. No, I'll be seeing like close combat all my life, right? So surprised that does so much to turret. Even though he can like do that and kill it. I'd want to make sure that Coordinator is kind of in a good spot there. I don't know if there's better leads. I don't think there is there. Had to crit. You can kill actually. Huh, let's maybe look at this Brillium line. Then we're always taking Sludge Bomb or Fire Blast. I can go bait with Arcanine. I wanna bait Sludge Bombical though, right? No, you're not faster. Who do I want to bait in this spot? the price of this one uppercut part is like been solid on ride period. Price that also kills the fire blast though. Test if I have to use Arcanine as a pivot here. And substitute AI would never substitute when it can see any sorts of kills, to my knowledge. Yeah, especially not in this situation. Obstagoon is probably going to be used on Delphox. Yeah. Swampert does kind of win that 1v1 at the very least. And then, like, let's see here. Yeah, good Conk Elder is kind of beast mode on that. But when you don't have any HP or speed. Actually, if I don't lower my defenses, would it still see burn up kill? Yeah, but at least it wouldn't confuse it with Psychic Fang's chance. Does that change anything really? I couldn't tell you. Tornado's benefit here is that it can be used with like any move to like add a citrus and always bait Psychic from Delphox, right? Means Delphox is always taking care of these guys. I have to give this a lum in case it burns or Hypnosis hits me. But it's a little unfortunate because it's like the best thing into Arcanine, right? If I switch a bro into burn up, it's not horrible. This is Rock Smash now too, so I can -1 you even further. This thing can't really take the burn up though. I really feel like this guy's pretty useless for the most of this fight. But no, this is good because at least. So I think we did the Black Belt strat. We get Nidoking in earlier. Pleasure Armor Fire Blast doesn't matter. Just soft sand this guy, brings in. Yes, so it probably brings in Burn Up guy, which is a little unfortunate, but what can you do? Because I need this to guarantee kill. So then we bring in Burn Up guy here. Where does we bring Arcanine? I don't think we have the team space to kind of finish off what I'm aiming for. Everything has to defeat Rhyperior is weak to Burn Up. Coordinator needs its health, so I can bait. I don't know if Griddles can win this fight if the burn up isn't set up. Am I faster than a Rhyperior? No, there's kind of that part too. Which I mean isn't the worst thing because it would always fast kill over Oxkill. Which I actually surprisingly need to give this an item for, and the bait's kind of. But I mean, as long as we've kind of established that baiting random fuckery on Tornado is the whole point of Spraw, right? It shouldn't ever rocks my Tornado. And so I need to just find the help on Urkanine. Unfortunately, probably just can't be Arcanine, right? Can Arcanine can't take a. By being like full that if it gets crit by burn up, it can't take that, and it will also not bait that. I probably just need to let bro eat that, right? I could, in okay consciousness, sack him here. And by him I mean Brillum. If there was a way to where I wouldn't bait burn up, but is what it is. Okay, just risk crit, yeah. Yeah, let's just get with these guys. I think citrus is better. Even if I get burned, I'll chip it down to try to neuter it as much as possible. Alright, gamers. think this part really deserves to go deathless, but hey. All right. Always kills. And we're always bringing in Nidoking for Sludge Bomb or Fire Blast. Fire Blast miss would probably be the most epic thing here. Substitute would be not epic, but I doubt it would do that. Go me a Fire Blast. Miss. Okay, that's fine. No crit? Okay. I think I'm still in burn up range. Yeah, I'm still in burn up range. Might as well protect Scout. There's burn up. Alright, Gyarados, I need to eat this one. Min bulk Gyarados is super rough, man. Okay. The worst part here is since I'm not in like kill range, I have to just kind of. Okay, that's cool. This is actually really good. Because now it's just gonna Psychic Fangs here. So on Psychic Fangs, we go into the Gooner. CC, we go back into this guy. Do need one more CC off. Need one more defense drop to get this kill. It doesn't do a bad job. Does it prevent me from getting burned again, right? Like I could use my Turtonator pivot here. Or I could do it at -3 and be safe. I think I'd rather do it at -3 and be safe. obviously I'm dead to crit. Crit does 88, so I'm obviously dead to that. But we're at -3. The second CC, so -3 that, -that. We obviously kill with anything.
Might do one more stage set here.
What the fuck? What the fuck? Why did it psychic or why did it CC? There shouldn't be any overlapping damage rolls. Hello? What happened there? What? Why did it CC? That's the what the fuck, man? I gotta clip that. I need to like send that to someone. I need someone to help me figure out why that CC'd, bro. I'm so confused, man. I'm so fucking confused. Psychic Fangs has way more PP and it's only used it 5 times. think we lose. I'm just trying to understand what I did wrong, because like it shouldn't have ever been able to go close combat there. I was gonna pivot off into Turtonator on the other close combat and then kill with that, and I don't get that, bro. What the fuck? I'm so lost. That just makes no sense. What the hell? Oh, gang, we lose. It's a pretty big bummer, I can't lie. Just wish I knew why I lost more than anything, rather than just losing because of seemingly something random. I don't get it, bro. Like, I don't know, it doesn't make sense. Like, I'll watch it back and see if I missed anything, but I just don't know, man. It doesn't make sense to me. I'm trying to watch this back, right? Let me watch back from the beginning. So a guy eats burn up. He's at -1. Now it's at -2, -1, -1. Now it's at -3, -2, -2. Or -3, -3. Yeah, -3, -3, -2. 75 health.
I just I don't understand. I calced that pretty correctly, at least in terms of like I didn't miss input anything. It was -3, -3, -2, right? Yeah. It's obviously not. What the fuck, man? Yeah, I mean, I don't really know. It's like I'm not so much upset I lost because a lot of this gym was scuffed and I knew it was scuffed, so like I'm cool with that, right? I just wish I knew why, so I'm gonna see if I can ask around. But I think it's gonna be ended here. That's yeah, it's gonna end it here. I think next attempt will be a penguin attempt. We'll run that back. I don't know when next attempt is gonna be. I have some shit to sort out for college. So yeah, it could be set up and then I just immediately start going back to streaming. Otherwise, who knows? I'm trying to juggle a few things right now, but it's just like at least for like the next month, this isn't my main focus. I still want to beat this game and continue to play this game though. Like it's a long term thing. It's just this month a few things happening, so it might not be the focus, but like I'll stream when I can this month for Run&Bun. Uh, I'll take the L though. I'll take the L. Even if it's like, I'll take the L. I think I could have played better overall. My line was still pretty scuffed. There was probably something there. I was just wanting to get to the free flan. Is what it is, you know? I just hope I can figure out why it did that. So I make sure that doesn't happen again. Otherwise, love you guys. Take it easy. I'll catch y'all later.